In Joseph Campbell's The Hero's Journey, he writes a story in the epilogue about a pregnant tiger who's starving. She hasn't eaten for days, and the situation's quite dire. And then in her travels, she comes across a herd of goats that are just out there in the field grazing, and she sees her opportunity. And she pounces on the herd, hoping to catch a bit of prey, but all of the goats just scatter. And in all of the excitement, she induces labor. And when she's giving labor, sadly, she passes. So the end of her life is marked by the beginning of a new one. This is very important. Now, when the goats come back, they see this defenseless cub, and their maternal instincts kick in. They nurture this baby tiger, and they raise it as a goat. And this tiger grows up his entire childhood believing that he's, well, a goat. Yet he is the most sickly and pathetic looking tiger you've ever seen, because his body can't digest all of the grass. It's just too much cellulose. And so, as we said before, he's quite sickly, but he doesn't know any different. And then one day, a tiger happens to stumble upon the very same herd. And like before, the entire herd disperses, and they run in terror except for this little tiger. For whatever reason, beyond his understanding, he doesn't run, even though he's very frightened. He's so curious about this creature. He had never seen a tiger before. Now, when the tiger sees this baby tiger, the big tiger says to him, "What are you doing out here, feeding with all of these goats?" This big tiger can't believe what he sees. And the little tiger responds, "I am a goat." Now, imagine, if you will, an accountant who wants to raise his son in the tradition of accounting and eventually pass on the family business. And he comes home from work one day to find that his son had gone out, bought a drum set, and joined the band. That's exactly the position and the emotional state this big tiger was in. He just cannot believe this. So he tries to explain to the tiger, "You're not a goat at all, you're a tiger." And this tiger's trying to understand, but he's just so confused. So finally, the big tiger grabs him by the scruff of his neck and carries him over to the pond and drops him down in front of the pond so he could get a good look at his reflection. And he says, "Well, look at that. Does that look like a goat to you?" Now, the little baby tiger realizes he doesn't look like any of the other goats in his family. But he still can't grasp what the big tiger's trying to say. So the big tiger gets an idea. He puts his face right next to the little tiger's face. He says, "Look, we're the same. You need to do what I do." And somehow the little tiger still isn't getting it. So in desperation, the big tiger grabs him by the scruff once more and brings him over to where he has some leftovers of a gazelle that he hunted that morning. And he says to the little tiger, "Go ahead and get a mouthful of that meat." Well, the little tiger backs up. He says, "Well, I can't do that. I'm a vegetarian." So, exasperated, this big tiger doesn't know what to do. And he goes ahead and he takes the meat and he shoves it into the little tiger's mouth. And this little tiger's just gagging on it. You know, kind of like when we try to impose our doctrines on people. And finally, he just swallows the meat. And all of a sudden, for the first time in the little tiger's life, he's gotten the right food for his unique genetic makeup. And this little tiger feels incredible. And unwittingly, he just lets out this baby tiger roar. And in the story, I think you gather that telling somebody that they're a tiger, giving them exhortations, encouragement, even presenting them with evidence is not enough to override years of conditioning. But the second you work on a behavioral level, and I don't mean a generalized behavioral level, like a weight loss client, and basically telling them something like, eat less, move more. I read a meme the other day that I actually liked. It said, eat less, move more is the same thing as telling a drowning person, drown less, swim more. Thanks, well-meaning, but not very helpful at all. And the second we can identify the behaviors that's in correspondence with who our client or who we want to be, and we start behaving in measurable terms exactly like that type of person. Let's say you want to be a leader. The day you start behaving exactly like a leader behaves and doing exactly what a leader does, at some level, what does that make you?